Good morning, friends. So today we will be reading John chapter 2, and then along the way, maybe in when we in chapter 3, I'm gonna skip there and then maybe do my short life story, and then so that way you guys know what happened to me in December 21st. But today we're gonna read John chapter 2, and I'm using the New Living Translation. You guys can follow along. So, chapter 2, and the previous video I did chapter 1. So, you guys can go check that one out. Anyway, so today we're going to read John chapter 2, and it says like this. This is the wedding in Cana. So it says, the next day there was wedding celebration in the village of Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and his disciples were also invited to the celebration. The wine supply ran out during the festivities, so Jesus' mother told him, "They have no more wine." "Dear woman, that's not that's not my problem. That's not our problem," Jesus replied. "My time has not yet come." But this But his mother told the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Standing nearby were 6 stone water jars used for Jewish ceremony. Washing each washing watching each could hold 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus told the servants, "Fill the jars with the water." When the jars had been filled, he said, "Now dip some out, and take it to the master of the ceremonies." So the servants followed his instruction. When the master of ceremonies tasted the water that was now wine, not knowing where it had come from, though of course, though of course the servants knew, he called the bridegroom over. "A host always serves the best wine first," he said. "Then, when everyone has had a lot to drink, he brings out the less expensive wine. But you have kept the best until now." This miraculous sign at Cana in Galilee was the first time Jesus revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. After the wedding, he went to Capernaum for a few days with his mother, his brothers, and his disciples. Let's go next page. Jesus clears the temple. It was nearly time for the Jewish Passover celebration, so Jesus went to Jerusalem. In the temple area, he saw merchants selling cattle, sheep, and doves for sacrifices. He also saw dealers at tables exchanging foreign money. Jesus made a whip from some rope and chased them all out of the temple. He drove he drove out the sheep and cattle that scattered the money changers, going over the floor, and turned over their tables. Then, going over the going over to the people who sold doves, he told them, "Get these things out of here. Stop turning my father's house into a marketplace." Then his disciples remembered his prophecy from the scriptures. Passion for God's house will consume me. But the Jewish leaders demanded, "What are you doing? If God gave you authority, you do this. If God gave you authority to do this, show us a miraculous sign to prove it." "All right," Jesus replied. "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." What they exclaimed, "It has taken 40 What? They exclaimed. "It has taken 46 years to build this temple, and you can rebuild it in 3 days?" But when Jesus said, "This temple," he meant his own body. After he raised from the dead, his disciples remembered he had said this, and they believed both the scriptures and what Jesus had said. She, so this is the title, Jesus and Nicodemus. Because of the miraculous signs Jesus did in Jerusalem at the Passover celebration, many began to trust in him. But Jesus didn't trust them because he knew all about people. No one needed to tell him about human nature, for he knew what was in each person's heart. So this is chapter 2, and tomorrow it's gonna short chapter. For tomorrow we'll read chapter 3, and it's gonna short. So let me tell you a little bit about my story. So December 21st, 2024, I went to chiropractic and to get adjusted because I had so much headache. And then and before this, I had gone many appointments, but with different doctors. And this time, I went to a new one, and she had me do a little exercise where she wanted me to tilt my head on one side. So I did that, and I blacked out. I lost control, and then I woke up, and she said, "Can you do the other side?" And I did. So after that, I completely lost control, meaning that I start vomiting, and then felt very dizzy, and so she got scared, and then she called my wife to come pick me up. So during the ride home from the clinic, I was puking my guts out throughout the ride and on the road. And from there, when we got home, my wife was telling me that my eyes started to go back and forth, and then so she took me to the ER, and and I guess I was having a stroke at that time. So when I got to the ER, I had another stroke there, and during my stay in the ICU, I had another one, so I had total of three. But during this whole time, I spent 3 nights, 4 days. Didn't know what was happening, but my wife was there watching me. She watched the whole thing. She was scared, and so uh, anyways, I was told a couple of weeks ago that normally that people have three strokes, normally sometimes they get paralyzed in either on their speech or or like they lose control of their legs or arms. luckily, well, I shouldn't say luckily. I think that God was there for me. The during this whole situation, he was keeping my life. He preserved my life, I should say, because in December of 2024, I was working so hard and pursuing money, and I guess it's not. I was not pursuing God. I was pursuing more money, and I was kind of putting God one side, and I was going forward to get my to get money for the family, but when that happens, I guess things go wrong. Well, that's exactly what happened to me. But during this whole time, I have seen God work in my life. Like I'm my the first 2 weeks, my short term memory was horrible, and my speech was I had so much slurring. But God's good. I don't know what everyone is going through, and everybody has a different journey. But I just wanted to say that there's a way out. There's God can help you along if you allowed Him to work in your life. And this is exactly what happened with me. Even though I didn't acknowledge that God was in it, I know that He was in later on that He was in working in my behalf. Sometimes we can't see how God works, but He is near. He is near. You just have to allow Him. Um, Talk to Him during the day if you get a chance, and He sees in your side. You're not alone. Um, so my encouragement for you is just don't give up. And then if you have any prayer request, you can send me a message, and maybe I can, if I see it, I can respond to you. And I know life is not easy, but it's possible to keep moving forward with the help, with God's help. So that's all what I have for today, and then tomorrow we will continue with chapter 3, and then maybe I can share a little more of my life. And thank you so much, and then you guys have an awesome day, blessed day. Thank you. Goodbye.